News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Whole Tree Care. A recent study by personal finance website Wallet Hub studied 21 key metrics to determine the best cities in America for professional and college basketball fans. Salt Lake City finished third overall behind Los Angeles and Boston, respectively, after high ranks with accessibility to an NBA stadium, first overall, and lowest minimum season ticket price for college basketball, tied for fourth. The study gave more than twice as much weight to cities in proximity to an NBA franchise. For those cities with NBA franchises, the study considered the team's performance level, historical value, NBA and conference championships, Hall of Fame head coaches, fan engagement, and average ticket price, among others. For college basketball cities, the study examined performance levels of teams, conference championships, fan engagement, minimum season ticket prices, number of coaches in the past 10 years, stadium capacity, and more. Now, as far as cities that host teams in the Mountain West Conference, Logan is second overall, right behind San Diego, home of the San Diego State Aztecs. KBNU News Time is 4:06. KBNU weather becoming mostly cloudy tonight. Chance of rain showers this evening. Rain showers likely after midnight, low in the mid-30s. Chance of showers 60%. Slight chance of rain and snow showers Thursday morning, partly cloudy by afternoon. High temperature in the upper 50s with west winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Right now it's 63 at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Adams Wealth Advisors. They put clients first under any circumstance. You'll receive peace of mind with Adams Wealth Advisors. Schedule a time with an advisor today. Call 752-1702 or visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
Men, sometimes women drop subtle hints like,
"Hey, honey, the weather sure is nice today."
"Yeah, I think I'll go golfing with the fellas."
Ugh, whatever.
Sometimes we just need more direct language like,
"Honey, call Whole Tree Care to trim and clean up all those gnarly shrubs and dead, twisted branches. I want to enjoy the yard this summer, not dread it."
You know, I was thinking the same thing. Call Whole Tree Care, 760-6587. Ask about their radio discount. They also do tree and stump removal. 760-6587.
KBNU News Time is 4:07. A set of recommendations made by Utah residents for the federal government has been channeled through a debt and deficit task force that was organized by Utah 1st District Republican Congressman Blake Moore. The membership of this task force represents everything from real estate development to hospitals and clinics. There's a retired major general from the Air Force and many others. On KBNU's For the People program on Tuesday, Moore said it's a lengthy report.
Yeah, it's 8 pages. So buckle in, listeners. But I think what our government is doing with respect to debt and deficit is worth us to lean in a little bit in this. And I'm appreciative, Jason, being able to talk about it. To be honest with you, because this stuff matters. This is something I'm very passionate about. It's ultimately what got me into the race.
Moore said in January 2020, when he decided to run before COVID grabbed all the headlines, the economy was strong and running on all 4 cylinders.
And I came in with this message of, we need to take advantage of this growth period to credibly go after our deficit issues. Because for 20 years, we have let this slip, and Republicans and Democrats alike. And I wanna be a voice in this, and this is how I'm gonna continue to drive this message.
He said they're not aiming to solve all problems with the 8-page recommendation, but Moore said what they are doing is communicating a commitment, also posing the question of what an ideal state needs to look like for health care, Social Security, and defense spending. You can download the task force's report at blakemore.house.gov. There could be more answers soon in a double murder investigation in Grand County as the sheriff promises new information in the next few days. Meanwhile, a reality TV star famous for catching criminals is jumping into the case. Dwayne Dog the Bounty Hunter Chapman held a news conference in Moab on Tuesday to talk about the murders of Kylan Schulte and Crystal Turner and his own search for answers in the case. Dog has been in Moab for just 24 hours, but he said he's gathering information and believes it was somebody local who killed the couple. Schulte and Turner were found dead in August in the La Salle Mountains outside Moab. While Dog is getting the attention right now, it's the Grand County Sheriff's Office that has been leading this investigation. KBNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Keeping you informed. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, and online at 610kvnu.com.
Hi, this is Drew Allen with Allen Mortuaries. Over the years, thousands of families have planned ahead with Allen Mortuaries. Planning ahead helps you make informed and thoughtful decisions. It also spares your family the stress of making these decisions under the pressure of time and strong emotions. Allen Mortuaries' secure pre-need trust plan can save you nearly 40% versus other plans. Keep it simple, safe, and secure. Go with the proven choice, Allen Mortuaries. Voted best funeral home in Cache Valley in northern Utah. Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
Adams Wealth Advisors' entire team says, thank you, Cache Valley, for voting them the best financial planner in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Honesty and integrity is the hallmark of Adams Wealth Advisors. Let them earn your trust today.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind, whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight
With Jason Williams.
and I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVN News for the People. Wednesday, May 11th. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Still making our way through candidates as quickly as possible. We have postponed our time with the county council candidates. We'd planned to check in with them again this week, but scheduling conflicts and, a bunch of other things. We've actually postponed that for a couple of weeks, but you will have a chance to hear from both the Northeast and the Southeast Republican candidates in those county council races where this race will play out. It is, even in Utah, even when a race is challenged by the Democrats, of course, it's most likely that the Republican's going to win. And in these races, there isn't anything different about that. So the next representative of the Southeast District and the Northeast District on the county council will be decided in this Republican primary that's playing out. And again, those ballots will start going out the week of June 7th. Cache County Clerk and Auditor Jess Bradfield told us just recently on the show. So we're hurrying to get to the candidates. If you have a specific question or candidate you'd like us to prioritize, you're always welcome to shoot me an email at the show address, kvnuftp@gmail.com. And we'd be glad to prioritize if there's a race that is of particular interest to our listeners. Otherwise, we'll just continue to slowly make our way through as best we can as schedules allow. So coming up today on the show, Representative Mike Peterson will join us. We'd spoken a few weeks ago with former Representative Val Potter, who is challenging Peterson in this race. Potter lost to Peterson in the last cycle 2 years ago, and he is running to reclaim that seat. And his criticism is that Peterson has not represented Cache Valley, has run bills that are kind of more national politics message bills, and has not had success in building relationships in the last 2 years within the Utah legislature to get things done. Peterson has maintained that he's had some success and that it's a more difficult process than anyone realized, which I can attest to myself. We'll have a chance to talk with Representative Peterson in the second hour of today's show. He'll be joining us at 5 o'clock, so be sure and tune in for that, and we'll check in with Val Potter again soon as well, and invite Peterson back before the primary date. So a few of these candidates you'll get a couple of opportunities to hear from. We'll try to do the same with the United States Senate race. That's the one most people are paying attention to, I understand. This is a primary taking place right now between three candidates, incumbent Senator Mike Lee, Republican challenger Becky Edwards, and Republican challenger Allie Isom. We've had both Edwards and Isom on the show. We have arrangements still in the works to have Lee on the show. His schedule is a little more challenging, what with the Senate work and things like that. I've said this before, incumbents have the benefit of being the incumbent. In Utah, here in Utah, we love our incumbents. We have one of the highest re-election patterns, or longest running re-election patterns of almost any state in the nation. But the disadvantage to being the incumbent is that you've been elected to do a job while your opponents are campaigning. You're oftentimes unable to. So we will have a chance to talk with Senator Lee here on the show. The United States Senate race and of course, the congressional race here, the primary in the 1st Congressional District, are at the top of the ticket this cycle. But don't ignore these smaller races. Get to know the candidates for county council. Get to know both candidates if you're there in what is currently House District 2, but soon to become House District 3. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. It's currently House District 3, but will be, by the time whoever wins this primary will go on to be the next state representative in the Utah House for that northern part of the valley. And so by the time they assume that office, the number will have changed due to redistricting. So if there's any confusion about that, that's why. Just think of it as District 2/3, if you want, for the time being. But that race is equally important. So I hope people aren't just plugging in with the United States Senate race or the 1st Congressional District primary with challengers Tina Cannon and Andrew Badger challenging incumbent Representative Blake Moore, who was on our show yesterday, talking about his deaf and deficit task force. I understand those races are, the ones you're going to hear the most about, but the county council races are pretty dang important. There are a lot of decisions coming here in Cache Valley the county council will be forced to weigh in on and cast a vote on. So who speaks for you in a representative fashion is pretty important when it comes to the county council, always, but especially right now. So I hope everyone's plugging in, getting to know the candidates. If you simply Google the race, you'll easily find their names, and so it's not hard to find their websites at least, but again, we'll have them sit down here in the studio with us as often as possible, or as frequently as possible, even multiple times if time allows, between now and that deadline for mailing your ballot in, which is actually Monday, June 27th. If you haven't mailed it in by then, again, your ballot needs to be dropped off at a drop box or in person at the clerk's office on Election Day, June 28th. Do not mail it June 28th. So ballots again going out that first week of June. So you'll have plenty of time to weigh the candidates and get to know them. And in that United States Senate race, some more news on that front today. It's a statement actually from the Utah GOP that I don't know if this was just an oversight or if they didn't expect people to make certain assumptions, or if it is actually, as some have accused the Republican Party leadership, actually a coordinated thing. Parties are supposed to stay neutral in a primary. That's not just a gentleman's agreement. It's oftentimes in the actual bylaws spelled out, or not is, in fact, in this case. And some Republican voters, and even some vocal lawmakers and former lawmakers who are Republicans here in Utah are accusing the Utah GOP of overstepping a bit. The reason this all came up is that, and of course, challengers are jumping on this opportunity. That's why I think it was a big misfire by Utah GOP leadership. But a statement was released by the chair of the Utah Republican Party yesterday, and Carson Jorgensen. And Carson, in the statement, said that he was advising Republican candidates not to participate in the Utah Debate Commission televised and radio broadcast debates, because he felt where these were Republican primaries, that the party should get to write the questions. And I'm guessing there was a certain intent with that statement, but it is not the result. The result has been, considering that the Utah Debate Commission is chaired by former state senator, Republican lawmaker Wayne Niederhauser, the Debate Commission board was quick to respond, and it doesn't look good. What it's led to is the challengers in this United States Senate race, Becky Edwards and Ali Isom, have said the party is protecting the incumbent, and there's some reasoning behind that does make sense. Low turnout is good for incumbents, so. Not participating in the debate is, of course, going to Senator Lee not participating in the debate, because Edwards and Isom have already said they plan to, despite the statement from the party. And most other Republican candidates invited to Utah Debate Commission debates have also said they plan to. In fact, Senator Mike Lee is the only one to not say that, regardless of what the party leadership said in the statement, he plans to be at these debates. He hasn't weighed in yet so far today, but the appearance is that by not participating in the debate, this is the accusation from some key lawmakers and of course the Edwards and Isom campaign jumping on this as well, that the party is hoping to just not draw interest to the race by avoiding these debates. There would of course be lower viewership or listenership as they're broadcast on television and radio throughout the state. And that's good for incumbents. So that's where the accusation from the challengers has come from, that they're protecting the incumbent by hoping to keep turnout low by not participating in debates. The second part of the statement from the Utah GOP, though, was that they will participate if they get to write the questions. And that's then resulted in a separate critical response of GOP party leadership in this, writing this statement and putting it out last night, in that, that's not how these are supposed to work, basically. The debate commission made up, by the way, this debate on scheduled at least for June 2nd between United States Senate candidates Mike Lee, Becky Edwards, and Ali Isom would be moderated by a pretty famous individual, Rod Decker. I don't do a good Decker impression, but
Rod Decker?
Yeah, he's kind of a shouter. But he's a well-known media figure here in Utah. He's since retired, for the most part, from day-to-day news generation and writing and reporting. He did it on television. He did it in print. He has a impeccable track record. I mean, you would be hard-pressed to say that this guy is going to be an impartial moderator. But that's the actual implication of the party leadership statement, of the Utah GOP statement last night, is that they feel unless they get to write the questions, that this isn't going to play out fair, to which, understandably, the Debate Commission responded and said, this is a Republican primary. Fair to who? Who are we talking about here? So, and then again, the Edwards and Isom campaign jumped right on this, which is smart of them to do, saying that the party is not remaining neutral in this race. They're trying to tip the scales for Senator Lee. It's not a good look for the party. It's not a good look for Senator Lee, even though there's no evidence he's involved in this at all. And a lot of people are making the assumption that this is some sort of collaborative effort between party leadership and the incumbent. There is no evidence of that. That's just something that's being thrown out. But it does look bad, to say the least. So we'll see how this plays out. Right now, the Debate Commission says they plan to still hold this debate with or without Senator Lee on June 2nd. It will still be televised and broadcast in audio form on radio throughout the state. And there are, at this point, 2 candidates who have agreed to be there at the date that was planned months ago on June 2nd, Becky Edwards and Allie Isom. And again, no word from the Lee campaign yet on this. They haven't said yes or no. But the controversy that's bubbled up today is just from that Utah GOP statement saying they're advising candidates to avoid the bipartisan Utah Debate Commission scheduled debates, which were planned way back in January. So the timing of this statement, too, looks a little suspicious. They agreed to them and now haven't, or now we're taking that back. That statement put out. I've posted a link to the statement if you'd like to read it from Utah GOP leadership, and also links to all the candidate responses and former State Senate President Wayne Niederhauser saying these debates were planned months ago. Everyone agreed to them. Doesn't understand why the party is suddenly objecting. And it is just not a good look for the party, paraphrasing the statement from the Utah Debate Commission. But the Debate Commission says the debates will go ahead whether or not Senator Lee is on the stage or not. Check it out. I've linked to all of it on our Facebook page, and we'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
True, many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. We're Edward Jones. Together, we can give your long-term retirement strategy the attention it deserves. Contact your local Edward Jones financial advisor to get started today. Call 1-800-ED-JONES. Visit edwardjones.com or stop by any of the 7 Edward Jones offices in Cache Valley.
I'm Larry Gelwigs, the getaway guru with Morris Columbus Travel and Celebrity Cruises. It's our spring cruise sale with 25% off cruises and airfare, plus free drinks, free Wi-Fi, and free prepaid gratuities on most Celebrity Cruises through March 2023. And for the best travel deals on the planet, give us a call at Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
We may be thousands of miles apart, but we can still connect. And when we do, we make things better. At Child Fund, we connect children all around the world with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Together, we co-create connections that help millions of children who live in poverty worldwide, and their families, and their communities, and you. Join us. Together, we can make the world a better place. 2 small worlds at a time. Visit childfund.org to learn more.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. And just like that, things change. This minutes after I said that no word from Senator Lee, I'm trying to scramble through her statement here to see if she what she cites as a source. But okay, she was informed by the Utah Debate Commission. So apparently, there's more to this. This whole Senator Mike Lee not being at the Senate debate that was planned months ago, again by the Utah Debate Commission and agreed to at the time by all candidates and all and parties. They will have these debates for Democratic primaries, Republican primaries. They do some state legislative debates, but mainly they're going to be having debates in each congressional district. In fact, by the way, I'll post it again, but I shared recently a schedule for how we'll be involved in this. We'll have an opportunity to broadcast the Utah Debate Commission's Congressional District 1 debate, which will be between Congressman Blake Moore, Challenger Tina Canyon, and Challenger Andrew Badger, and we'll be broadcasting that live. It will be in the afternoon here, though. not during our regular show hours. We will have highlights on the regular show, but the actual broadcast will be in the afternoon. And these are also televised. So again, for those just tuning in, the controversy is the accusation going out here is that the Utah Republican Party is running interference for an incumbent. They're supposed to be neutral in a primary, and I can see it definitely looks that way, to say the least. Downplaying or trying to reduce attention on the debates is a good way to keep turnout lower, and that's always good for incumbents. That's the main accusation being thrown out here towards Senator Lee and the Utah GOP. But I'd said before the break that Senator Lee's camp had not been involved in any of this, that they were just, that it was all this Utah GOP party or leadership statement last night saying that they're advising Republican candidates to avoid the debates unless the Utah Debate Commission agrees to let the Utah Republican Party write the questions for the candidates. A very weird request that I never understand why people don't think, how will this look? How will this be perceived by the public? And I'm always surprised. You see it with lawmakers sometimes. You see it federal and state. You see it with party leadership too often. And I just it boggles me that no one ever just pauses and thinks, okay, how will this look to the public? But the way it looks is that they're trying to negotiate their way out of these debates on behalf of a specific candidate. The ISOM campaign, just after I said, we're finished with this, there's nothing new to talk about, the ISOM campaign put out a statement in which Ali Isom is saying that late yesterday she was actually informed by the Utah Debate Commission that Senator Lee had made it known to them that he would not make himself available for this June 2nd debate. Isom says after that, which was in the afternoon, so in the afternoon, the Debate Commission tells Ali Isom, one of the Republican candidates in this race. Becky Edwards has also weighed in on this and agreed that that she's not buying this the justification given either. But Isom actually put out a lengthy statement just minutes ago as we went to that break, and her statement says, she says, late yesterday I was informed Senator Lee may not be attending the upcoming June 2nd candidate debate hosted by the Utah Debate Commission. Then last night I got word that the Utah Republican Party may be providing Lee air cover for his sudden unavailability. I happen to be an official Republican candidate and have received no official communication from the state Republican Party. I'm pretty sure they have my number. I've been in politics long enough to know a scheme when I smell one. Some speculate Lee's the one pulling the strings of our state GOP. Maybe it's only a coincidence, Isom wrote in this statement, but she says some speculate Lee's unsure how to navigate a stage against two female challengers. Well, in 2022, I certainly hope that's not the case. A strong statement from the Isom campaign, again, just minutes ago, saying that she's not buying it. Ali Isom not buying it. It appears to her and to a lot of people that, again, it's the timing. So the news went around behind the scenes that Senator Lee was pulling out of the June 2nd debate. And then the party puts out a statement later that night saying it's all about, they want to be able to write the questions. They're accusing the Utah Debate Commission, basically chaired again by former Republican state senator and president Wayne Niederhauser, who has a pretty proven track record. They're basically accusing him of, in advance, of bias. Or the moderator. Maybe it's Rod Decker they think will be biased. But either way, the party puts out the statement last night, assuming that the earlier part of the discussion was not going to be made public. Then once it's made public, the party's statement looks weirdly timed. It does look like they're running cover for a candidate who has decided to withdraw from a televised and radio debate. Not a good look for Senator Lee. Not a good look for party leadership. And again, a strong statement from the Isom campaign. As far as the Edwards campaign response, they had a lengthy written statement, but the one that is getting the most attention today is a tweet from the Edwards campaign, a simple tweet that just said, Senator Mike Lee has never had a problem with being on TV before. Let's have this debate. So I've linked to as much of this as I can, but it's obviously still kind of developing. And again, no official statement at all from the Senator Lee campaign on any of this, but a bad look for party leadership putting that statement out last night and then having the news break that this internal conversation had been happening earlier in the day with Senator Lee apparently signaling intent to withdraw from the debate that was planned months ago, and then the party running a little interference for him. Edwards and Isom pouncing on that. And again, no word from Senator Lee's camp yet. We'll keep you posted if that changes. All right. And now finally, assuming there isn't another late-breaking development in this, we will move on the other side of these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KBNU News Time is 4:35. The news is brought to you by Northern Steel Buildings. A Utah copper mining company will begin manufacturing a rare mineral used in solar panels that used to be discarded along with the other mine tailings. Fox 13 reported that Rio Tinto officials and Utah Governor Spencer Cox unveiled the plan today at the Kennecott Refinery west of Salt Lake City, where the Tellurium will be produced. The company says it is one of two in the U.S. to produce the tellurium. It's listed as a critical mineral by the U.S. government. Most of the tellurium produced comes from China and other countries. A school board in southwest Idaho has permanently banned 22 popular books from the district's libraries, including Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale and Khaled Hosseini's Kite Runner. The Idaho Press reports the Nampa School Board made the vote on Monday after the books were brought to the attention of the district over accusations they contain pornography. But some of the books are rated as having little or no sexual content by Common Sense Media, an organization that provides age-based ratings for books, movies, and video games. The board's vote ended a review process that was already underway by district committees that included parents and staffers. And Crimson Cliffs scored a golden goal with less than a minute left in extra time to defeat Ridgeline 1-0 in the 4A Boys Soccer Championship game that was played earlier today at Rio Tinto Stadium. KBNU News Time is 4:37.
The wind is whipping, rain is pouring, branches are falling, and it could hail at any minute. How could you leave your baby out in that storm?
Well, I can't park her in the house. Oh, baby, Daddy loves you. I'm so sorry. What can I do?
Call Northern Steel Buildings to protect your baby. We build custom agricultural buildings, barns, arenas, warehouses, and equipment storage that's built to last. Schedule a free consultation at northernsteelbuilding.com. That's northernsteelbuilding.com. Value from concept to construction.
KBNU weather tonight, mostly cloudy, chance of rain showers this evening. Rain showers likely after midnight, low in the mid-30s. Partly cloudy Thursday. In the morning, there's a slight chance of rain and snow showers. Then partly cloudy in the afternoon. A little bit cooler, high temperature in the upper 50s with west winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. It is 64 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Logan Dental Associates. Make your appointment at Logan Dental Associates with Dr. Brandon Preby, Curtis Taylor, or Anthony Larson. Or if it's more convenient, visit them at their Cherry Creek Dental Office in Richmond, a full-service dental office to take care of the entire family. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Branch Office Administrator Brittany Chambers bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report on behalf of Financial Advisor Daryl Arnell and Edward Jones. Inflation data released today came in higher than expectations, with headline CPI at 8.3% and core inflation excluding food and energy at 6.2%. Energy costs were a big factor in the March CPI report, but saw easing in April, down 2.7%. Food and shelter were the big areas seeing upward price pressure as the cost of housing increases and the war in Ukraine, coupled with a bird flu scare, have put pressure on the supply chain. Though high, the readings still came in below March's 8.5% growth, a sign that March could have marked the peak in inflation. However, with April coming in above estimates, investors are worried that the pace of disinflation could take longer than anticipated. The latest reading likely did little to dissuade the Federal Reserve from aggressively hiking rates this year. U.S. equities closed lower today. The Dow closed down 326 points, or 1.01%, at 31,834. The Nasdaq closed down 373 points, or 3.18%, at 11,364. The S&P closed down 66 points, or 1.6%, at 3,935. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 2.92% lower by 0.08 percentage points. In stocks of local interest, Home Depot is down $8.20 to $282.96. Lowe's is down $4.36 to $187.77. Nucor is down $3.56 to $125.97. Pepsi is down 83 cents to $170.66. Thermo Fisher is down $6.23 to $520. Walmart is down $1.56 to $147.62. Zions Bank is down 44 cents to $53.45. Northrop Grumman is down $3.49 to $446.48. This has been today's Financial Market Report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at offices in Providence, Logan, and Smithfield. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
Cache Valley's biggest party, the Cache Valley Cruise-In, is celebrating 40 years. 40 years of classic cars, concerts, and giveaway cars. This year, the Cruising Association is giving away 2 cars to one lucky winner. A 93 Chevy Corvette and a 68 Ford Mustang. Cache Valley Cruising, Cache Valley Cruising. Your entry ticket to the Cruise-In gives you a chance at winning both cars. June 30th through July 2nd, over 1,000 classic cars, motorcycles, hot rods, and custom builds from around the country. Enjoy delicious, all-American food and live music featuring Granger Smith, with special guest Earl Dibbles Jr. and opening act Sawyer Brown. Buy tickets today at Lee's Marketplace or online on the Cache Valley Cruise-In website. June 30th through July 2nd at the Cache County Fairgrounds.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. A couple of big stories at CacheValleyDaily.com. I'm going to throw this one out because you're going to want to go read it yourself more than hear me discuss it. Or I guess if people want to weigh in, you're welcome to weigh in on this. But it's going to be, I think both. I think it's going to be something better and at the same time a huge mess. But beaches, specifically the North Beach, which is actually just barely east of St. Charles, Idaho. A lot of Utahns forget that. But they will have a new reservation system. This starts May 2nd. Well, it started May 2nd. And so visitors will have the option to make day use reservations for that North Beach throughout the entire season online. But it is first come, first serve, and if a reservation is made, space will be made available guaranteed. How they're going to do that, though, I don't know. Bill, have you ever been to or even driven past the North Beach in like July?
It's been a while.
It looks like it looks like those beaches that you see in movies from Southern California or on the Atlantic,
New Jersey
beaches. Yeah, just like wall to wall, people from different families bumping elbows. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but pretty dang crowded. In fact, the data included in the story here at CacheValleyDaily.com is the North Beach alone gets more than 300,000 visitors a year. So that's both why they decided to implement this online reservation system, but also I think presents a real challenge because how do you the North Beach is popular because that's the most gradual slope of the lake, and so it's perfect for kids playing. It's perfect for all the things you do at a beach. But how do you pull this off? So again, people will make a reservation online, and then if they have that reservation, they are guaranteed space. But we're not talking, some sort of improved facility with walls and separators and trails and paths in between cook sites or parking sites and things like that. No, we're talking about a literal beach full of people. And somehow, and I'm not saying this critically, I think it's great they're doing this. I'm just curious how they're going to pull it off. How do you reserve, if someone, say you have 100,000 of these 300,000 plus visitors a year make a reservation because remember, this doesn't mean, this reservation system doesn't mean you can't go to the North Beach without a reservation. What it means is if you make a reservation, you are guaranteed a space on the North Beach. I think it's a great idea, but again, I really, really, really want to know how they're going to pull this off. I guess we'll see. But Park Ranger Andrew Stokes told CashValleyDaily.com's Rod Bohm that he said anyone who has tried to visit the park during the summer months can attest it gets pretty busy pretty fast. And everyone's got their cheats. I've heard people say, that someone told me once they went over at like 5 a.m. to set some stuff up on the North Beach so that they could, have a place for a tent and a little table and let their kids play. That's still going to be an option for people, but this is a way that so people can go in and actually reserve a space online and then have that space guaranteed. That's great, but Stokes says the way this will work each weekend, they found they were full or even over capacity at around 10 a.m. Saturday morning each weekend throughout last summer. And so a reservation allows visitors to have some peace of mind. You have that reservation, you're guaranteed entry into the park. And so, yeah. So Stokes says that the system is set up to accommodate an average of 700 vehicle permits per day, but that number is subject to fluctuation depending on water levels, lake height. North Beach, he said, is the largest and nicest beach the lake has to offer, and because of that, it draws this huge crowd. So they're looking at different ways to manage beach space. Reservations, by the way, $10 for Idaho residents, $20 for Utah residents or anyone not in Idaho. And the price does include that daily motor vehicle entrance fee. And by the way, for those who already have an Idaho State Park passport on their vehicle, they'll be the fees will be $3 if you have that state park passport. And annual pass holders, the cost will be $6. So it's a pretty cool idea. But again, I'm just curious how they're going to pull this off. How are you going to reserve space for a group even, or even 2 people, as busy as that beach gets? We'll see. So IdahoStateParks.ReserveAmerica.com is the website if you want to head there now. Again, IdahoStateParks.ReserveAmerica.com. And the full story on this with additional quotes I didn't get to here from Andrew Stokes, park ranger there in Idaho on that North Beach of Bear Lake on our Facebook page. I've linked to it all. Or simply visit CashValleyDaily.com. It's right there on the front page. Bear Lake's North Beach implementing this year a new reservation system. Online reservations for beach space are actually a thing. So I just... And again, I'm not at all being critical, but can you imagine, Bill? You've got, say, on any given day, this is totally arbitrary, maybe you have 1,000 people that made a reservation. How do you guarantee them a spot? How do you guarantee that's, yeah. It's going to be rough for some park rangers.
Draw a line in the sand, I guess. I don't know.
I wonder if they'll have some sort of like netting or something that they'll, or maybe it's just one of those canopy tents, thousands of those, and a name hanging on it. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good idea. Don't get me wrong, but already have a headache for the park rangers involved with enforcing this. We'll see how it goes as people adjust. But again, $10 though for reservation to know you'll have a spot. That's
I'd make a reservation for a Monday afternoon, Monday night. Maybe
yeah, that's
if
what
if you can get off work, maybe that's the key.
Growing up, our Bear Lake trips were always Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, just to avoid exactly this. So check it out. Full story at CacheValleyDaily.com. One other story at CacheValleyDaily.com I wanted to highlight as well. The Cache County Council went through the approval and denial, sadly, it's limited funds, of course, process for the wraps and restaurant tax disbursements. This happened last night. A lot of local groups and events are going to be sad at not getting funded. Others ecstatic at getting funded. So during the regular meeting last night, the Cache County Council approved a list of allocations from the wraps and restaurant tax fund totaling about $2.8 million. And these go to a very eclectic set of different causes. But there was the problem in all of this, as Charlie Schill reports at CacheValleyDaily.com, was that the Wraps and Restaurant Tax Committee had received 69 requests with a total of $5.6 million. So obviously that's a lot more than what they had. So as chairman of the Wraps and Restaurant Tax Committee, Cache County Executive David Zook praised Council Chair Barbara Tidwell and Council Member David Erickson for being the leads on working this, what is essentially a budget. You can look at it that way, how the money's going to be spent, much like the county council does for their own spending, but also like the state does for the state budget each year. And so the Cache County Council has collected 1% sales tax on prepared food since about 1992 to fund and support, this falls into a lot of different things: arts, recreation, tourism. That's what RAPS stands for: recreation, arts, parks, and zoos. And through this 1% sales tax, the money's collected into this pool, and they spend it. So total revenue available this year was $3.2 million, and again, that was outweighed by 69 requests totaling $5.6 million. And the county council did want to set aside from this fund about $400,000 for county emergencies and to trim disbursements from other groups, or that required trimming disbursements to other groups. So where did the money go? Here are some examples from Charlie's story, again at CacheValleyDaily.com. Utah Festival Opera and Music Theater had submitted 3 different funding requests totaling about $670,000. Council gave them $280,000. Logan Parks and Recreation Department requested nearly $500,000 for 3 big projects. That total was trimmed down to $400,000 from the RAPS committee. Zootah at Willows Park requested $520,000. That was trimmed to $160,000. There were also requests from the Cache County Visitors Bureau, about $22,000. Cache Youth Orchestra, $21,000. Mendon City asked for $80,000. Newton, $20,000. Richmond, $82,000. And Wellsville, $62,000. Those were denied. The city of North Logan submitted a request for a $300,000 funding measure that would upgrade a specific pavilion at Elkridge Park. The county committee gave them $50,000, so about $250,000 less than they'd approved. And Councilmember Gina Worthen did make a motion at that time to add $100,000 to that $50,000, explaining that the city had requested funds to replace the pavilion on the north side of that park, and it's used for the annual pumpkin walk. And she said that this is really a safety issue more than anything. The pavilion is old, been there since the 80s, and needs to be replaced. And she admitted she's part of the group that stages the pumpkin walk, but said she received the figures that she received from North Logan City Administrator indicated the majority of Elkridge Park users are not North Logan residents. That's something happening a lot in Logan, too. So Worthen said this is a service to the entire county, not just for the pumpkin walk, and said the city uses a budget of about $6,000-$7,000 to put that event on every year. And she said, no offense to the Utah Festival Opera, but there are more people who attend the pumpkin walk, I think, than the Utah Festival Opera. I'm not sure about that, but maybe. Council member Carl Ward seconded that motion, but the rest of the council disagreed. And North Logan City, again, was stuck with that $50,000 instead of the $300,000 they'd asked for to fix that pavilion. So just some details. Again, a lot was funded last night, a budget of $2.8 million total in funding. Projects will go towards recreation, arts, and tourism through that wraps and restaurant tax collected by the county. And, so that's kind of a rough overview of where things fell last night. If you'd like to see the whole thing, I've linked to it on our Facebook page. You can visit cashcounty.org. There also is a link in Charlie's story at cashvalleydaily.com. Last night, the Cache County Council received a report from the Cache County Wraps Committee on where the wraps tax money collected by the county is going this year. And we'll be back with more of KVN News for the People right after this.
Over the last year, COVID-19 vaccines helped us get back to a life that feels almost normal. But the virus is still out there, and there's still something you can do to protect yourself and those you care about most. When it comes to your health and the well-being of your family and friends, don't let your guard down. Get vaccinated and boosted for COVID-19 to keep your protection going strong. Find a location at coronavirus.utah.gov.
Internet carriers want to tell you they can save you money. What they don't give you is a personal face-to-face agent who knows you. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. We're saving people 10, 20, even 30% on their insurance. I'm so confident we can save you some dough. If I can't, I will buy you a donut next door at Schaefer House Bakery. Take my challenge. You've got nothing to lose. Either way, you get the dough. Quality First Insurance. Give us a call, 752-0101, or come in and see us.
Do you have a nasty weed problem? We have the right person for you. Sir, you work for Logan Extermination, don't you? Can you help these folks get rid of pesky dandelions?
Of course I can help. I am the Terminator. I will terminate those little yellow devils in your yard. Call me at Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
Terminate your weeds and green up your lawn for only $45, based on maximum 5,000 square feet.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We often hear people say, I wish I could use White Pine, but I've already paid for arrangements elsewhere. Know that if you've already pre-planned with a different funeral home, you can still call White Pine. If you are being told you'll lose up to 25% of your money, White Pine will provide a discount equal to any fee for switching. If you have any questions, please stop by for a visit or give us a call. We would love to meet you and explain in more detail.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. This is a beautiful day out there. Bill, I have to wrap up hour one. Listeners can't see this, and I probably won't post a photo, but I'm celebrating summer today. I actually had,
Why not?
We've all been there probably, but for reasons, I needed a change of shirt today. Sometimes it's that I just lean against the wrong thing on a job site. Other times it's that I spill on myself constantly somehow. But either way, needed a change of shirt, and the nearest location was not exactly a clothing store. It was actually a sporting goods store. But, man, I walked in. First thing I see on the rack, an actual pink flamingo Hawaiian shirt that you rarely see, even though it's the classic, original, that everyone thinks of. Acapulco shirt is also another way it's referred to. But it is sitting right there. It's on sale, dirt cheap, and I'm just feeling summery today. But the weather outside, man, it's it's a little gusty right now again. But it's
supposed to rain tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of rain maybe, but starting to heat back up, and it's feeling like summer already, which I guess,
and
drought, not good, but
it really will by Monday. 80 degrees on Monday.
That's crazy how fast it changes. 26 the other night, right? 27, I think, was the low.
Yeah.
80 by the following Monday. Utah. Representative Mike Peterson running for re-election in a primary here in northern Utah, a rare thing, being challenged by former state lawmaker, the man he bested 2 years ago, Val Potter, in this primary. We've spoken with Potter before. Representative Mike Peterson makes his first visit to the show during this primary right after this here on KVNU Logan.